Hello, my name is Topher Marafi. I'm an assistant professor at Florida Atlantic University in the Media, Technology, and Entertainment MFA program. My talk is titled Sherlock Frankenstein, Transmedia Character Design with AI Breeding Tools. This is part of the Artificial Creativity Conference 2020. To begin with, I would like to revisit Chris Hecker's Game Developers Convention talk in 2008, where he proposed a Photoshop of AI. In his talk, he said that hard interactive problems in games may be solved by decomposing structure from style, and that a successful AI tool will have parameters that are intuitive, malleable, and based on data. In the next year, there was an aid debate with Michael Mateus, where he brought up the point that the domain of AI is too large for a Photoshop of AI. But he did admit that subdomains might be able to have a tool which would be similar to a Photoshop of AI. I would like to keep this in mind as we look at generative adversarial networks and how they're developing tools that artists are using. GANs were developed by Ian Goodfellow in 2014, and they decompose structure and style in neural networks by using a generator and a discriminator. The generator plays a game with the discriminator, trying to fool it with fake images, and the discriminator uses real images in a database to compare with the fake images and decide whether they are real or fake. And by doing that, they create images that are very, very realistic. And you can see that from 2014 to 2018, that those images have become deep fake level photorealistic images, especially when NVIDIA started developing StyleGAN to generate realistic faces in 2018, and then in 2019 came out with StyleGAN 2. So when you combine GANs with neuroevolutionary breeding algorithms, then you start to get some tools that artists can use in order to generate creative imagery. Artbreeder.com is one of those tools that combines DeepMind's Big GAN with UCF's PicBreeder, and it gives you an intuitive online interface to be able to generate images with this, and not just faces, but animals and backgrounds and lots of different categories of images. BigGAN leverages ImageNet's large database, and it allows artists to easily merge visual features. So you can take a cat and do a metamorphosis with a person on a sled and create some interesting images in the middle. So we're using GANs to create transmedia character design. We're taking characters like Sherlock Holmes and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and we're inputting representations of those characters from art and from film into the database so that it reads those features and then generates images, as you can see on the right there, that have some similarities to those representations. And once they're inside of Artbreeder, then we can manipulate those images. And so some of the things that we can do with those images is combine classic representations from a lot of different media of something like Sherlock Holmes, everything from drawings by Sidney Paget to actors who have played Sherlock Holmes over the years, and we can combine those into a new representation that will have some of those features. And we've done that also with representations of Frankenstein, the classic Boris Karloff version, as well as the more contemporary Roy Kinnear version, and come up with combinations that have features of each one of those actors. And the way you do this in Artbreeder is you can do crossbreeding between two different representations, and you can see that they very closely represent both structure in the content of the facial features and then the style of those facial features. And then also you can produce children that will randomly mix different features with other representations. And then when you choose one of those, you will retain some of the features of the original. And then you can do gene editing, where you can have access to specific features that you can adjust, such as gender, or whether the eyes are more open or closed, or whether someone has East Asian features. These different gender and racial features are easily manipulated through genes and are generated from real faces in the database. This brings up both the ability to make diverse characters for games very easily by just tweaking some genes to make a female version of Sherlock Holmes, or an African-American version of Sherlock Holmes, or an Asian version of Sherlock Holmes. This brings up certain ethical issues that would need to be considered as you're developing your character. We have seen that not Sherlock Holmes, but at least Watson in the television show Elementary is a female version, a female Asian version of Watson, and it does bring some interesting new qualities to that portrayal. So those things have to be considered when you're going to manipulate things like gender or race genes. But this allows you to have control over a lot of those different features, and they're pulling from a database so that it's very malleable in the Photoshop of AI sense. Here you can see a concept art piece that was entirely created at Artbreeder. The background was created, all of the characters in the midground and the foreground character were created in Artbreeder. Same thing with this concept art piece. All of the elements were created in Artbreeder. We're also using this same application, or the same tool for the application of 3D historical characters. We have a project where we're creating a realistic full-color version of Harriet Tubman. And this allows us to have designs that we can make into 3D versions. So we're developing an AI 3D virtual production extended reality pipeline for game characters that starts with these AI designs. And then we can use other programs that also use AI to make those designs into 3D characters that are riggable, and then we can animate them with our motion capture system. We're very interested in collaborating with CE, CS, AI researchers who are interested in GANs to develop more robust and streamlined character design tools. I feel that the Artbreeder tool is getting very close to a Photoshop of AI, at least for character design, but it could be streamlined for, say, taking a historical character from black and white photographs like Frederick Douglass and then making that into a full color 3D character. So please contact me if you're interested in collaborating on this tool. And you can contact me at cmarafi@fau.edu and see more samples of this work at tophermarafi.com.